All right, here we are. Welcome back. Part two of the First Class episode. We had to do two parts because Trevor loves this film so much.
It's
Yeah, yeah, he really
I
loves
I
it.
love the CIA.
Um, wow, you hear to hear first. Wow. So we were just getting
CIA heard
into
it first.
what? Oh, fuck, I forgot. What was the last thing we were talking about?
I've got Banshee, not Irish.
Yeah, I mean, he was an Irish
Why?
actor. He had red hair.
The
You know,
Wolverine cameo when Magneto and Professor X come and they're like,
yeah.
"Hey, do
What?
you want it?" And he's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. What did you think about that? He said, "Go fuck yourself." I hated it. I thought it was stupid.
You
Um,
didn't like that? It was good to see him.
yeah. The only cool part was no, what's Balderdash is that Charles Xavier never alludes to having met him before. What's cool is it shows the agelessness of Wolverine. That's what's cool.
Right,
Um,
but also, I just read that this is not prequel. This was a reboot.
huh. Oh fuck. That's gonna make this film lose a fucking half a Rambo knife for
Because I
me.
mean, it already like White Queen was in Wolverine Origins as a kid back in the day, and then
Well,
now,
I suppose it had to be a reboot because there's a finality to the trilogy, the X-Men Last Stand. They wrapped that part up. So I understand that. Well, which is why I can't fucking wait to get into Days of Future Past because it fixes all this. So I've got a couple more notes. Um, Magneto, couple things. Xavier. So Magneto is one of the most powerful mutants ever, right? He Xavier helped him become that. And Xavier
right?
literally says he's like if you've learned to control your powers, you're gonna be so powerful that not even I'll be able to stop you. And that ends up being true. This is what we were talking about. Now I'm remembering. This is what we were talking about. We wrapped up part one. We were talking about how Magneto Magneto basically became Sebastian Shaw. He even took his fucking helmet. Um,
Right. I
that's
mean, he literally says like, "I
I
agree with
agree.
everything you're saying,"
Yeah, but you
and then
killed my.
kills him.
But he no, he literally says, "I agree with everything. I want you to know that I agree with everything you just said. Unfortunately, you killed my mom." So two sides of this. Another note that I have. What a wonderful kill. You really get optics on the fact that Xavier feels everyone's pain when he goes in
Oh,
when he
oh
goes
yeah,
into
yeah,
their
yeah,
brain. And so
yeah.
that's fascinating. Like that scene where Xavier like unlocks Magneto and he moves the fucking satellite. He like Xavier and Magneto are crying because Xavier felt that fucking memory. And that was so powerful. But what was cool, so Xavier's in Sebastian Shaw's head when Magneto kills him.
So
So
he feels death.
yeah, via his best friend. You know what I mean? That's fascinating. I thought that was so fucking cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I have a note for you specifically. And this was the first one of these, right? So I go JFK cameo, instant half Rambo knife bump.
Yeah,
Our boy's in it.
yeah.
Our
J.
boy.
J. Fitzgerald Kennedy is the man.
I'm still not gonna break, but it is very funny.
I
Um,
have how long is this movie?
2 hours and
Forever?
2 hours and 12 minutes.
2 hours and 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And I so much of it is like political bullshit
So
where they're going back and forth. It's they so much of this movie could be cut.
Well,
So much.
all right. So I love it. I fucking love that this movie's about the Cold War. I love that this movie insinuates that the Cuban Missile Crisis and the start of the jump off of the Cold War is done by mutants. I think that's so
Yeah.
fucking cool. I
I'm
love that.
not mad about it.
You just said you were.
No, I'm mad that they are spending 20 minutes in the war room talking about bullshit. Like I want to see X-Men.
I suppose you're right. I like I want I
Like
want to
that.
say I want to say for all the things you don't like about this film, I've only disagreed with like two, and like you've had like 30. Like I hear
No,
you.
I know. Beast looks dumb.
Yes,
Bad Beast.
yes,
And a good thing, Rebecca Romaine cameo. Your girl Lawrence is trying to get some action with Fassbender, and
that's
he's
right.
like, maybe come back in a few
In a
years.
few
And she
years,
ages herself, and then she looks at like Rebecca Romaine. That's all.
yeah,
That was a good thing.
that was a good scene. I love that Beast. Speaking of Beast, I love, I love that he turned himself into the blue character because I know OG X-Men he wasn't. Is that canon?
Yeah.
Okay.
He tries to make himself not look like a monkey man, and then
Yeah.
he turns into the beast.
Yeah,
That's canon. Yeah.
I really really love that.
I,
I love the dynamic. I love the early dynamic of Magneto turning Mystique into Mystique. I love that whole relationship.
I love that too,
Yeah.
because in the later movies that have nothing to do with this one, they are friends, so that makes sense.
They're already yeah, they're
That
like yeah.
there, the scene where Hank is talking to Mystique and they're talking about the cure, I walked out.
Why?
I didn't even want to see it. It was so stupid. Who the fuck cares? Who cares? We're in the middle of a damn missile crisis. For God's sake.
It's such a fucking
Oh,
huge
agonizing.
it's a huge fucking story arc in the X-Men talking about the cure.
So stupid. Not necessary at
Oh
all.
my.
This is first class. They could have just left him.
Now, all right. So I will say, I undeniably, I will say to you right now, yeah, you could have cut that whole part out. However, the only payoff to that was Beast turning into Beast. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree.
Beast.
Uh,
A
well,
dumb,
well,
stupid beast
well,
who sounded dumb.
stupid
I
Beast.
hated
All
it.
right, all right. So a note about that too, just for continuity. Well, I guess no, because because it's a reboot. But like Beast has that fucking accent, he does it. But again, I didn't know that this was supposed to be a reboot. That makes total sense. That also makes me like this film less, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sick first flight in the Blackbird.
Oh, SR-72 Blackbird is amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah,
It's great.
yeah, best of all time. Yeah.
I've
Dude.
got, while we talking about the Blackbird, I got Knob City. Knobs all over this movie. Like they go beep, bloop, 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 bloop. Starting the Blackbird. They start Cerebro. It's like he switches 13 knobs.
Yeah. Okay.
You couldn't
All
do
right.
that before?
Well, shouts out
But
to
it's the 60s. It's the 60s.
shouts
It's
out,
Knob City.
shouts out to the prototype Cerebro. Shouts out. That's cool. Instantly works.
Not last long.
Yeah,
Now,
dude.
I want to say Sebastian Shaw, defense, Nazi, he does apologize.
Multiple times.
He does say, I'm
Yeah,
sorry about
I'm
it, but
sorry
we
about
had
that.
to do it.
Yeah. And Magneto's like, I know, and I've always known that without you, I wouldn't become the weapon that I am. So yeah, I mean, like, right in, like, did the Nazi notice Sebastian Shaw have something right, dude? I mean,
Did the Nazis turn Magneto into a Nazi?
yeah, wow. Well, yeah, and that's the interesting dynamic
He
of
wants
Magneto.
to kill an entire race
He wants to
because his
genocide.
race
He
is
wants genocide.
superior.
He precisely. He's like that really is a Nazi ideology. But it's like it's reverse Nazism. I don't know, but no, it's not. He thinks that there's a superior race. Yeah, you're
It's
absolutely
just
right.
it's just a different type of Nazi. Worse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Worse. Yeah.
Because they want to kill all humans
Right.
instead of just the Jews and the blacks and the gays and well, everyone.
No, everybody didn't look.
Polish, the Polish,
Everybody didn't look like you.
Italians for sure.
Everybody doesn't look like you.
I've got it during that last scene. This is my last note. During that last scene, submarine. There is an SR-72 Blackbird on the beach. There are Russian and American war boats
Yes.
shooting missiles
Yeah.
at the beach. Where are the Cubans? Not one person from Cuba being like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Doing
It's a good question. Well, because
from their TV.
it begged me it begged me to ask a question and like but it might be silly like do the Cubans have naval warships at this point? Yeah. I mean, they must, right? That's interesting. All right, I got a
Someone
couple.
would have showed up on that beach for sure.
Someone, yes, some sort of
For sure.
some
Fidel
sort of member,
Castro would have been like, "Hey, check out the submarine on our beach."
some sort of member of the Cuban military would have showed up and been like, what's going on, guys? Yeah, yeah. All right, let me finish off my notes then, man. Moira and Eric paralyzed Xavier. Wow. Um, yeah, the Michael Ironside was a treat.
I just found that note. Michael Ironside, the place of three other actors. They had been filming the scene for 5 days, and the girl called. She said, "I need your help." Called Ironside. Ironside's like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll do it." She said, "You're gonna come in hot because this is against the director. The director wants these three dudes, so I'm calling you in to get this shot done." He comes in, does the shot. The director kind of ignores him. Vaughn ignores him. I guess he's upset or something. He does the scene. It takes 1 day.
Fuck yeah, man. Shouts out to Ironside.
Ironside. Whew. Love you,
Rico,
man.
fucking who's Roughnecks?
RoboCop. Come on.
Yo, RoboCop Day is coming up. Actually, dude, like in the next couple of days, we'll talk about it.
Yep.
Fuck, RoboCop Day is coming up.
Last note.
My last note is Moira named the X-Men, and I think that's dope.
That was dope for her
Yeah.
American ass.
Yeah, it was all very strange. This is interesting, Trevor. I so let's get into Rambo Knives. And you know what? I've got kind of no, I've just you go first. You got to go first in this one. Rambo Knives.
Okay.
X-Men First Class, Trevor D. How many Rambo Knives?
One Rambo knife.
Wow. Wow.
Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie.
Wow.
They reboot a series that I love. They take characters that I love and change them, and they fuck up accents and diversity.
Holy
Fuck
shit.
this movie.
Holy shit. One. Dude, I'm trying to think of the movies you've given one, and they're all really, 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 really bad. This movie's that bad?
This was agonizing for me to watch.
Jesus.
Agonizing.
Fuck. Wow, you
watched
heard it
Last
here first.
Stand, and I was like into it, kind of.
Yeah, well, that's you. That movie's
this movie,
trash.
Ugh.
Interesting. That's fascinating to me. All right, so I remember seeing this movie in theaters. I loved it. I still love this movie. I love this film. With that being said, there is still, and this is why I needed to do this cast with you on this film particularly, because we debated even doing this one. You did not want to do this one because you hate this film.
I just didn't want to watch it again.
Well, right, and that's how I felt about Last Stand. I didn't want to watch Last Stand again. I would only do it for this. But
and Spider-Man 3. But hey, for the
Spider-Man 3 was
for
fucking,
you folks.
Shouts out to Raimi, dog. But like
Raimi killed it.
Killed it. Oh, he's so good. But like, all right, so I always have a ranking in my head before I go into these films. Like just if I've seen it before, right? Like I'm like, this is how I think I feel about it. And like this is interesting. I had this film as a 4.5 before I rewatched it. Yeah. Yeah, because I love it. So as I'm going through it, it drops to a 4. At one point for me, it dropped to a 3 because there's still an immense amount of cheese in this film. And I knew that I was going to have to get fact check on a bunch of inconsistencies with canon and all this shit. Like I had a feeling this was kind of just like willy nilly, right? And I knew I just inherently knew this is part of the reason why you didn't love this film.
It was all the director. The director was just like, I'm doing it my way.
Yeah.
He literally, he told the people like, don't have a Scottish accent. He thought they were going to have a Scottish accent. He's like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Why?
I get it. So yeah, man, I will say, and I also there's a second JFK cameo in this film. And again, that's a half of Rambo knife fucking bump for me. It just is, dude. I mean, that's our guy. You know that.
And that's why it got one. The two half.
I forget you.
Only JFK and the Wolverine cameo got a 1.
I forget that you, because I will now, like, zero's not a ranking for me. You're the only one that uses 0. I forget that's on the table for you. I love it.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So I literally have written down, I had 4 out of 5. And then after that last JFK cameo, I had 4.5 out of 5. This is one of those casts. This is one of those rare casts where you, throughout this cast, you've changed my mind. You give me a different scope. So officially, Legal E First class, 3 out of 5 Rambo knives. This gets a 3. This might be the very first time we are 2 full Rambo knives off one another.
I would love to know all of our Rambo knife rankings.
I'm not gonna do that work, but if somebody wants to write in,
Right.
you know what I mean.
Real quick,
yes, sir.
I went on a binge and watched the Wolverine trilogy, which is Origins, the Wolverine, and Logan.
You watched
And
all
this is
3?
yeah.
Okay,
And I'm giving these 4, 4, and 5 Rambo knives.
that's interesting.
I enjoyed those movies so much.
Yeah, that's.
I thoroughly, and Logan. Oh
Did you
my
just say
god.
4, 4, and 5?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa! Oh, old man Logan being the okay. Yeah, that's a 5.
Yeah.
Of course, that's a 5. That film's a fucking masterpiece. That's interesting. 4s are ridiculous for those films. I'm gonna have to rewatch them, but
I thought the same.
just to fill folks in
But
at
I
home,
watched them today, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, these are good.
yeah. So just to fill folks in at home, we're not doing those as part of this
No.
super run for X-Men films. We're just doing the only films that we're doing are the X-Men films, right?
We've got Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and the other movie
Dark
that came.
Phoenix. So yeah, real fast. I had to remind Trevor, or yesterday or whatever it was. This week I had to remind Trevor that Dark Phoenix existed.
Forgot.
Which is very funny. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I gave it a 3. I still really fucking love this film. This is a film that I will in my life. Go ahead.
I don't not like it, but I just think
1 out of
that
5.
I mean it.
Yeah,
I mean, like
okay.
I like parts of it. Like it has my characters that I love, like Fassbender and Xavier killed it, but
Okay.
it's
All right.
just
It's not. So we're doing the X-Men films. This is the least X-Men film of the X-Men films, right? Yeah. It's got the least to do with the X-Men. It's not a film about the X-Men whatsoever. It's a film about Charles Xavier and Magneto, which as I'm saying this, Trevor, that's the Cold War.
right.
You know what I mean? So I get all those parallels, but yeah, it wasn't very, it just was not enough X-Men in a movie that was supposed to be an X-Men film. And now that I know that in a movie that was supposed to reboot the X-Men film franchise, yeah, just fell kind of short. And a little spoilers. So next cast is going to be Days of Future Past. You and I have to find out how to watch that. I will rent it or buy it if I have to.
It's on HBO Max, I think.
Okay, cool.
For some reason, that one film isn't on Disney Plus. So
I
me and
wonder.
Eric are like, wait, what happened? What?
Yeah, well, I wonder if that's like a publishing thing. Like, no, because it's all Fox, right? I don't know. Also, Days of Future Past,
Well, like
spoilers, is the very, very, very best one. So I can't wait for this next one, man. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, we're both super excited to get into X-Men. We both knew X2 was going to be a banger. We both had an interesting reviewing of X1. We were just like, this movie's kind of stupid and cheesy. X3 still trash to be, but had its merits.
Yeah.
I knew you didn't like this film. I love this film, but we are both typically folks in podcast puppets. Trevor and I decide to talk about our favorite films, right? Like this is the new era of podcast puppets. We're doing films, and this is one. This is Days of Future Past is one where we both know that it's everything, man. So I'm very excited for that. What we haven't really touched on yet since the beginning of this kind of like mega bus of X-Men films is the reason why we're doing this. And the reason why we're doing this, I'm not going to date it, but recently,
didn't we say?
Well, at the very beginning, but I'm reminding, and like let's get into this. The X-Men cartoon, right? This is the reason. So recently the X-Men cartoon dropped a couple episodes. I'm refusing to watch them until we're done doing this. Trevor can't.
So dumb.
Trevor can't.
It's so dumb.
Trevor can't.
They are so fucking good.
I'm sure that they are.
They've shown me things I never thought I would see.
That's wonderful.
I couldn't imagine to see.
I'm very excited. I can't wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. And like, yeah, we're gonna go through these next few episodes. So The plan is, and we'll see, but the plan is to do Days of Future Past in and of itself, and then we'll do the other two films because they're really bad. But yeah, all the while I'm gonna bring up the X-Men cartoon and how I'm not watching them, and I just want to see how fucking excited my partner here gets about it, dude. I'm very
It
excited.
oh I man, I cried. After that first episode, I cried.
Good. All right, folks. Well, I think that's it, man. Days of Future Past. You heard it here first. One
The
out
only
of
time I
five.
bring this out.
1 out of 5 Rambo knives for my partner Trevor D. I gave it a 3. Next episode, Days of Future Past. Folks, write in, tell me what you think about the X-Men cartoon. Tell Trevor why he's right for watching
Movies.
them. Uh and we'll see, man. We'll see. Fucking there's a lot. It's a very exciting time to be an X-Men fan. And it's very exciting that Trevor and I finally get to go through. We love something when we're dedicating like half a fucking season, on one thing, dude. So
Never before done. Also,
yeah.
Deadpool Wolverine is coming out. So
I'm saying it's a very exciting time to be an X-Men fan. Hugh Jackman in that
that
yellow
movie is going to
suit.
change everything.
Hugh Jackman in that yellow. It really might. It really, really
It
might.
will.
I,
It will.
and I hope
It's
it does. If that fucking movie ushers in the new Marvel, because I don't fuck with the Marvel films. If that movie fucking ushers in the new era of X-Men, let's go.
yep.
Very, very excited for that. All right, folks, that's gonna do it for this episode. Podcast Puppets, much love. Right in. Peace out.